Hey everybody, Adam Payne here, and in this video I'm going to walk you through the complete Pinterest process from start to finish without missing anything out so that you can understand how Pinterest works to drive traffic back to your website. So in order to leverage on Pinterest, you are of course going to need to have a place for that traffic to be sent to, a website, and that website needs to be populated with content on a consistent basis. This is my Japan travel site, and I'm in the middle of creating an article titled Best Month to Visit Japan, Find Your Perfect Season. And as we scroll down, there needs to be a lot of work done before I can publish. We go through every single month of the year. So there's a topic, Best Month to Visit Japan, and of course there are going to be 12 titles within the post, H2 tags, each one related to a specific month. Now, if you are creating content with the goal of getting traffic from Pinterest, you don't just want to create any old content. You want to make sure that there is traffic to be had, in this case, on Pinterest. And to do that for free, you can open up Pinterest in an incognito tab, click on Explore Ideas, and you can start to type stuff in. Now, obviously, I'm in Japan, hence the Japanese characters here. But first of all, I can type in best time to visit, and we get autocomplete suggestions, and Japan is there. So I know that people are searching for this because Pinterest suggests this to me. And if I click on this, I can see the pins that are currently ranking well for this particular keyword phrase, and we can kind of come down and we can get an idea of the kind of content that we can create. This kind of stuff is very easy to create inside of Canva, and I'll show you shortly. But this is where a lot of people will stop. So they will create a pin, maybe two, going after best month to visit Japan, and that's all they'll do. But that's a missed opportunity, because this kind of content, while it's not numbered as a list, it's basically a listicle with each month. So I can create pins for each month of the year. So if we go back over to incognito and I just get rid of this and I type in Japan in, and we can go through the months. So I could say Japan in, put M in, March comes up. I know that people are searching for Japan in March. We click on this and I can see that my pin is already ranking #1 for this particular keyword. But if we go to other months, let's go Japan in May, for example, then I may not be. You can see I'm not ranking here at the top, at least, for Japan in May. Japan in March has appeared. But we kind of come down here and we can see that Japan in June, I think that's my pin. There's a lot of opportunity for traffic. So we've got basically 13 pins for this particular post at a minimum that we can create. One, best month to visit Japan, and then one for each H2 tag. In this case, it will be Japan in January, Japan in February, and so on and so forth. So again, 13 pins which can all be created and then send traffic back to this particular blog post once this post is live. And these pins are going to get traffic at different times of the year, because if somebody's planning a trip to Japan in December, for example, they're going to be looking for advice and things to do and places to stay and all of that stuff several months before that. So that particular keyword is going to trend several months before, the actual month comes around. So we've got a lot of seasonal stuff that we can potentially target here for this particular blog post. Even if it doesn't get any love from the search engines, we can get love from Facebook as well as other places. Now, before I continue, if you do want to get a guide with all of this stuff, then I'll leave a link in the description below. You can click on it and you can, check out all the resources and tips and all of that stuff, but that's below this video. So now we need to figure out how to create these images. Well, the thing that I do is first I go to Etsy and I find a template pack. You can create a free account over at Etsy, just type in Pinterest template or something like that, and you'll see all of these bundles that you can check out and potentially buy. Now, just because you're in a specific area doesn't mean you need to buy pins related to that. I've bought food pins, even though I don't operate in the recipe/food niche on Pinterest, But I can edit these for any other niche that I want. You've got travel ones here, you've got generic ones here. If I come up here and see the last ones that I bought, we'll click on this and reviews. You can see that I bought a food one here, I bought a travel pack here. And when you buy these, you get given a PDF with a link. You click on that link and it takes you into your own Canva account with these templates imported. And here are some of the templates that I've imported and edited for my own stuff. And we've got 30 different templates. Some are better than others. Some I use more than others. You can see I've not bothered with this one yet. But these can easily be changed depending on the theme or topic that you would like to create. So let's use this one as an example. And if we go back over here, best month to visit Japan. So I could just edit this and just put best month to visit and then change this word to Japan. You can see that I've got my URL in here already. Now, if you're wondering how we edit these things, you just hover over the thing you want to edit. If it's text, you can just type it. You can change the size and the font up here. If you want to change the color, let's say I don't want that black, I can click on text color. I can make it green, red will make it black. Maybe you want a different effect. You can click on effects and you can give it an outline. Then to make the outline better, I'll change the color to white, then click back on effects, and then I can change the outline to black, and then just bring it up like this. So you can kind of see, you can play around until you're happy with the colors, the fonts. With this, you just type in your domain name. We'll click on this. Then if you click on effect, and you click on background, that brings in the black background, but of course you can change the color here. So if you want a blue background, it's really entirely up to you. So now we need to get these nice looking images. Now I live in Japan, so a lot of these images are photos that I've taken. But if I can't find a good quality photo that I've taken, because I'm not a professional photographer, then I need to leverage on stock photos. Now Canva does have its own, but these are ones that most people will use and they've been seen countless times. So it's really good to try to be slightly original. Even if you are using stock photos, that's kind of impossible, but I like to use Envato. I do pay for this service, but what I can do is I can type in specific keywords here and potentially find images. So let's say I want an image of Tokyo. I can enter Tokyo, then come down here to where it says photos, and I've got these photos that I can potentially use. And if I like one, all I need to do is download it to my computer, and then I can drag and drop it into the uploads section of Canva, and then I can drag and drop it over here. So let's go to uploads and let's just go to Tokyo and see if I can find a Tokyo image. So we've got some images of Tokyo here. Some I've taken myself, some are stock photos. So this one here is of the Imperial Palace in Tokyo, so I can drag and drop that in there. Maybe I want one for the cherry blossom season because we're talking about best time to visit Japan. So I'll look at my uploads and I've got some cherry blossom pictures that I've uploaded in the past. So I might go with this one of Himeji Castle. And you can see the castle doesn't quite appear. So if I click on this and click on crop, I can actually bring it down a little bit so it looks slightly better. And then for this one here, it's kind of hidden with the text. So I might put in the word autumn, see if I can get something of autumn leaves. This is a beautiful place that I visited not far from my house last year. So I think that's already in there, to be honest, but I can put it in there. Oop, didn't want to do that. So we click on the back. Let's do that again. Okay, it's already in there, so that's fine. So this is now number 17 of my template pack, which is titled Best Month to Visit Japan. So now I want to go and create some more pins. So I might put something like, let's come down and find this pin. I'm going to bring this pin up so it's closer. And I'm going to get rid of that. And I'm just going to click in here, Japan in. And then I'm going to click on text, click on that, and I'll put January. Click outside, drag that up so it's in the middle. I don't like that font, so I might choose a different font. Let's come down and let's choose this one, see what that's like. We can make it a bit bigger. We can click on effects, outline. We'll change the color. I'll make this a white text with, click on effects again, and I'll make this a blue, and then we'll drag this across. So right now we've got Japan in January. I'm going to change this and put my URL, Japan Insider secrets.com, which I've probably made a little typo, but there we go. So we've got that. I need an image now. So if I go back to my post and I read the section about January, I talk about this area. Nagano is one of my favorite areas in Japan. They had the Winter Olympics. This park is really popular where you can watch monkeys in natural hot springs. So what I can do is I can come back here, I'll click on uploads and I'll just type in Nagano and see what images I've already got. And we'll see if any of these work. We've got this nice hot spring here. So I could put that in. Now, whether this is the best pin or not depends, but I just want to show you the process really quickly. Maybe we can make this a bit shorter so it doesn't take up too much space. So we'll just stop there, and we've got page 18 and page 17, which were the two pins that we've created now. Obviously, if this were real when this post goes live, I'd create the whole 13. I'm just going to come up here and rename this Best Time to Visit Japan, and then I'm going to hit share, download. And I don't want to download every single page. I just want to click on this, uncheck this, come down and find 17 and 18. 17 and 18. We'll hit done. We'll hit download. And now we're going to download a zip file of those two images. And then we can drag them off screen onto our computer. So you can see they've kind of downloaded there. So I'm going to drag these off screen. So you can't see them right now. But what we'll now do is we'll need to go over to a different place to do a little bit more research. So if I go over to Pinclicks and I click on login, Pinclicks is a paid tool, unfortunately, but it's great for keyword research and getting ideas. So when you log in, you're at the Keyword Explorer by default. You want to type in your keyword. So I'll go with Japan in January and just hit enter. Once we get given the results, we can see that there are approximately 958 searches per month for this particular keyword. Obviously, that's going to go up and down depending on the time of year that it is. Then I'm going to click on See Top Pins and just see what's currently doing okay now. And then what we'll do is we'll hover over these pins. So this one's currently ranking number 1. And if we scroll down, we get these, what they call annotated interests. They're just certain keywords that we can potentially incorporate into our descriptions and titles and all of that stuff. So I'm going to copy these. I'm going to open up a little file where I've already got my main keyword, and I'm going to put them in there. But there are going to be some of these that don't make sense for my piece of content. I'm not talking about fashion in my content, so everything related to outfit I'm going to get rid of. And there's nothing to do with Tokyo in my particular image. So I'm actually going to replace this with Nagano because that's what the piece of content on my blog post is about. And if I put Tokyo and I've got Tokyo in my description and somebody clicks on my pin and there's nothing about Tokyo, they're going to be disappointed. We'll minimize this, and you can go through and do this with several of these pins, as many as you want really. So let's go to this second one and see, are there any things in here? This looks pretty cool, so we'll copy these and then we'll come back. We've got to be careful that we don't want to, have repetition. So that's already been there. Again, we want to get rid of Tokyo because it's no relation, nor is Kyoto. December, maybe we'll get rid of those because it's about January. But you can see here, we've got these keywords here. Now, how many you want to get is really up to you, but we'll leave this for now. So I'm just going to copy all of these. The next step is to head over to AI. Now, I like Claude. You want to use ChatGPT or something different, doesn't really matter. I've got the paid version of Claude, but again, you can do this with the free version. You'll just have limitations on how often you can do this. And you can see here, I've already got a project inside of Claude, which means that I can just add my images and keywords and Claude knows what to do. If you want to get this prompt, then again, I'll leave it all below the video in that link. But I'm going to click on this. Okay, and we've got Central Japan Travel Exploration. So what I'm going to do is hit plus. I'm going to upload a file. I'm going to choose this one, but you can upload multiple at one time, 5, 10, 15. I'm just going to do one just to show you the process. Open this up. I will put, here are the keywords to try and use, because I don't want it to be forced. Then I'll put all of those keywords in here. I'll just do a double check to make sure that there are no things that have been repeated. I missed that one. I don't want that. And then all I do is I will hit enter or the arrow. Now, normally this is pretty much instant. I'm making a video now, so I'm sure it's going to take slightly longer than usual. As you can see, that's always the way it goes. But what's going to happen is Claude is going to give me titles, descriptions and alt text that I can then use when I go and add these to Pinterest. So let me just pause the video for a second while this is, oh, there you go, just as I said that, it does it. So we've got Japan in January, Ultimate Winter Travel Guide, could be a slightly better title in my opinion, but we've got this stuff here, the description and the alt text. So how does this actually work? Well, we're going to take this and we're going to head over to Pinterest and we are going to add this pin. So here we are over at Pinterest. We are in the Create Pins section. If we click on this up here, these little 3 bars, you can just come down and click on Create Pin and that will take you here. You can drag your pins in here. You can drag up to 10 at one time, but we're just going to drag that one, Japan in January. And then what we're going to do is we're going to fill out this information. So if we go back to Claude, we've got this. Now again, I know this could be a better title, but it is what it is. It's not really the Ultimate Winter Travel Guide, so I'm going to call this the Ultimate Japan Travel Guide. And then I'm going to copy all of this and come and grab the alt text. So we're going to grab all of that. So we'll copy that. We'll come back to Pinterest. You've got to scroll right the way down to the bottom, click on more options, and then you just put that in there. I'm going to add a full stop at the end. And there are 2 more things we need to do. We need the link and we need the board. Now, as you know, this post is not ready yet, so I don't actually have a link. But if I come over here, click on post and come here, what I can do is I can just kind of copy this for now, because that will be the URL that I use when we go live. I'll then come back. I'll just get rid of that little arrow. So we've got that here. As for the board, this is really important because we need to make sure that our pins go into boards that make sense to Pinterest. So I don't just want to call this board Japan or, you know, Adam's recommendations, because that doesn't really make any sense. Well, Japan makes sense, but it's too wide. So I could call this board Japan in January, or I could call this board When to Visit Japan, Japan Seasons, etc. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to call this Japan in January, and I might even have a board, I'm not sure. Japan in... No, I don't. So I'm going to create this board, Japan in January. So now that every single pin that I create, and I can create 3 or 4, you know, variations of this pin with different images and different colors, and they can all go in this board. So I'm going to click on Create Board because I've not created it. I'll now create it. So now I've got a board called Japan in January. I've got my title, my description, my link. Now, obviously I can't publish this right now because the actual post isn't live. But what I can do is I can click on this and I can use Pinterest native scheduler, and I can go ahead a few weeks and I can decide when I want to schedule it, both the day and the time. You can have up to 100 pins scheduled at any one time within the Pinterest native scheduler. I personally don't use any third-party tools for all of this. So as a recap, we need to make sure that we've got content that would work well on Pinterest. That's really important. We need to do a little bit of keyword research so we can leverage on things like pin clicks. We need to make sure that we can create nice looking pins so we can leverage on things like Canva and maybe Etsy. So there are 2 things there. And if we're struggling for images, we can use stock photos from places like Envato. And once you get this down, along with the help of AI, which just speeds things up a little bit, you'll be good to go. And you can just pump out these pins at an alarmingly fast rate. And if you're not happy with this, then you can go and edit the prompt and ask it to give you a different kind of CTA or a stronger CTA, or add, you know, full stop / periods to the end of your alt text if you're being picky. You know, AI does what you tell it. If you give it vague instructions, it does an average job. If you give it really clear instructions, it does a much better job. But if you want to edit what you get, then by all means do so, and that sometimes is necessary as well. So hopefully this video has shown you the kind of overview of the beginning to the start of Pinterest, from article idea through to pin creation and scheduling. And once you get into the groove of things, it's very, very simple process. You just need to be very consistent with Pinterest. You need to make sure that you've got pins basically going out on a daily basis. There is no magic number as to how many pins. It's different for different people and different niches. You can find the sweet spot for you over time. And Pinterest is a long-term game. It's not something that is going to give you results right away. But pins that you create today can drive traffic to your content a couple of months down the line and for years to come. Thanks for watching. I hope you got value from this video. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. If you're still watching, kudos to you, and I'll see you in another video soon. Take care.